What's up, guys? I am up bright and early with the sunrise so that I can break down every snap of Drake Maye's debut on the All-22 for you. Now, I know that it seems on the scoreboard like it was garbage time, and there's nothing to glean from that. The Jets were playing some real defense. It was pressed up. It was a lot of cover, too. I think we can have some real takeaways from it, and I think Maye did a good job. I had him with one solid throw, which impressed me, four routine throws, which are expected. He had a miss, and he had an interceptable ball, but I don't really think that it was his fault, and we'll get into it because it was the first snap. He had a sack that he shouldn't have taken. He had a sack that I can't blame him for taking. He had a throwaway, which was actually impressive, a good run, an okay run, and a lot of pocket movements. He was pressured on almost every one of his dropbacks, and even when he wasn't, he kind of thought he was. There was a lot that left me wanting more, but overall, yeah, in his first drive, Drake Maye looked like he needed more time on task. He didn't really have chemistry. He didn't really have timing down yet. That only comes with playing with dudes, right? Like, you don't learn how your wide receivers function and like get a feel for them on the bench. And so I don't blame him for that at all. And I'm not even a little bit worried about these kinds of things. I don't think that there's any reason to be super excited about it. I don't think there's any reason to be pessimistic about it at all. I do think that last night was a pretty decent example of just why I'm so low on Alex Van Pelt in this offense's design. Like, even if the receivers were getting open, and they're not, and even if the offensive line was protecting the quarterback well, and they are not, I don't see how this offense is ever a high functioning passing offense just because it's designed really poorly. It's very rudimentary. There's not a lot of help given to anybody, really, the offensive line, the quarterbacks, or the wide receivers. It's basically just, can we win running very basic routes that were in Madden 2002, or are we punting? That's enough talk. Let's get to the film. All right, first play, Drake Maye is going to throw this little quick hitch screen, right? It's 1-2, throw the hitch. But because his footwork's a little sloppy, and you'll see it on the other copy, it's an interceptable ball. It's not that it was inaccurate, it's just that it was a little late, because on these quick screens, you got to be so quick. Frankly, ball should be coming out here, right? You should be throwing this. It's more of a one-step drop than a three. Also, you see Maye's a little lazy with that first step. Call it nerves on his first NFL snap. Chalk it up to just not understanding the speed of the game quite yet. Whatever it was, it leads to a bad throw, despite the accuracy being good. And you see here, the linebacker has to dive. He gets his hands on it, but it would have been a crazy tough catch. Maybe if it's a Tua, we're a little bit more forgiving, but because it's Drake Maye, gotta be an interceptable ball. And you hate to see it because of the footwork and the mechanics of the release, which is, that's the big hoax around Drake Maye's lack of polish. Here, Maye is feeling a lot of pressure, and there's not that much pressure yet, right? He gets one step into his drop back, and he already feels it because he sees the defensive tackle stunting, right? A stunt basically being like I've drawn here with arrows, where the defensive tackles twist around each other. And as soon as he sees the stunt, he panics. Rather than getting the ball out to Pop Douglas at the top of the screen, out in the flat, right here, he needs to throw that. But he's already panicked. He already feels the pressure coming in. This is the best the best reasoning for why not to play Drake Maye. Just he's going to get killed. He's going to get ruined. He's going to get PTSD. He's going to get hit like this. Just keep him on the bench. Don't let him make bad habits. It's a neutral run. It's a plus pocket move. It makes a 4th and manageable 4th and 1, but it's not great. Little screen routine, really uncreative offense, really dumb. This play epitomizes it. So at the top of the screen, you're going to get Pop Douglas on this seam, and because it's a single high safety, right, it's middle of field closed, you can't throw the seam. But it's a stupid play because everybody else is basically running comebacks to the sticks. It's like a version of Hank. Here's my question for Alex Van Pelt. How is Maye supposed to look here at the seam, which usually will reveal itself around the 30, right? Around Pop Douglas hitting the 30-yard line, the quarterback should know He's open or he's not open. But how is Drake Maye supposed to look all the way here while he runs to the 30? And then when he runs to the 30, which is the apex of everybody else's route, quickly get his eyes all the way back across the field to throw a comeback. You basically have to throw it blind, which is how you throw a pick six. Or alternatively, you just have to completely ignore the seam. But the seam's not really pulling anybody off of any of the comebacks because it's man, and also because why would a dime defender leave the seam to go to a curl? Why would the outside corner leave the curl to go with the seam? It doesn't make any sense. They're not doubling the guy. It's just really poor play design. It is archaic and simple, and it is part of why I don't think Alex Van Pelt is an okay offensive coordinator, much less a good one. Nonetheless, it's a routine throw. Solid. Well, not solid, but routine. This sack is on Drake Maye, and it took me a while to figure that out. Hear me out. So you're going to see right here, Pop Douglas, at the top of your screen, is going to reveal himself as being open for now. This linebacker is already on his way over there, right? He already sees it. This is a play where you need something very advanced, but I think it can be done. Let's watch the rest of it one time, and then I'll mark it up. So as you can see, Drake Maye gets sacked. Let's see what he should have seen. So, diagramming the play. All right, so here's the offensive play. And the one that I really want you guys to focus on is this bend route right here. This read is going to be really simple. The outside receivers are basically decoys. It's cover 2, or at least it looks like it's too high. Middle of field open. That means that the red route, the bend route, is going to be your primary. The idea is basically that the comebacks are deep enough that they pull the safeties out a little bit because they think it might be a streak. And then this tight end is going to run an out route. Well, I guess it's an in. Whatever. This out breaking route eventually. And he's going to pull this linebacker right here. He's going to pull him away from the play. And so you should slot this ball in right here, right? Because the bend route isn't necessarily supposed to look like an over the way I've drawn it. His job is basically just to find the linebacker in the middle of the field, run to him, and then just run right behind his butt, right? Just as narrowly as possible, get right behind him. It's also going to be base cover 2, as I've denoted with the blue circles. So theoretically, you should have a window right here in between these zones to fire the ball with lots of velocity into the intended receiver's hands. Now, the issue is that football players don't sit in zones the way they do in Madden. They look at the quarterback, they read his eyes, they cover people, not grass. Right here, you can see Maye is not using his eyes to manipulate very much, right? You can kind of see his cone of vision. He's always looking in this general vicinity, which is where the ball is going to go. He's not quite staring down his target because you don't know which one of those 2 or 3 receivers he's going to use, but he is basically telling the linebacker, stay in this general region. And if he had used his eyes and looked down here, or maybe looked out there, he could get this linebacker to cheat a little bit inside. Looking to the left wouldn't have been as useful for that, obviously, but who knows what the linebacker's going to do. You have to try to manipulate him in some way because it seems like he knows the play. And the linebacker knowing the play would be more evidence that Alex Van Pelt's offense stinks, and I hate it. Right now, the play is developed to the extent that Drake Maye doesn't have to look off the linebacker. He doesn't have to hit the bend route in between those 2 zones, right? At this point, he could just loft the ball over the linebacker's head. The problem is you can't really see it, but there's a grown man on Drake Maye's back right here, and that makes it really difficult to throw accurately downfield. Let's watch it again. Right here is where Maye would need to fire this ball, and even without the eye manipulation, if Maye has the arm talent that I think he has, I think he could still fire it in. This is the kind of thing that Josh Allen gets away with all the time because Josh Allen's not a great thinker, not a great manipulator, but damn is his arm insane. And he could get the ball in there quicker than the linebacker can run even when he's keyed on the spot. Here, Drake Maye needs to just drive this ball to Pop Douglas. It's going to be tough. It might get batted down, but you need to hit the ball in that little hole pot shot type throw. Step into it, put your ass into it, throw it with everything you got. Week 1, Caleb Williams taught us that if you throw hard enough, it can't get picked. You'll hit a guy in the face mask and it'll ricochet away. Instead, Maye does not hit the over route, the bend route by Pop Douglas. Now, some people may also be thinking, well, what about this tight end? He's open. No, he's not, because you got to throw a ball this way, and then you have a safety either decapitating your tight end or taking the ball away. Both are bad. So, it's a sack on Drake Maye. He had one outlet, and it would have been an advanced throw, but damn it, I expect a lot from this kid. Make the advanced throw. It's not a good sack to take. This is the sack that I think Maye was referring to at the end of the game when he said he can't be taking stupid sacks. I believe that that was the stupid sack in question. Little screen, nothing for us to talk about. 3rd down. It's good running. Let's see if he had anybody open. See, this is supposed to be a mesh, right? And the idea is that you're going to have these two receivers at the top of the screen running ins or maybe very gentle slants down the field, pulling everybody away, and then you run your tight end back across on the over/drag route, and he gets open because of a natural pick. And upon this natural pick, you'll have him running wide open for 15 to 20 yards. Fine. It's poorly designed because the tight end isn't fast enough and this play is way too spread out. So you need a long time to set this play up. Like, here's where the play should finally be developing into what it was intended to be. But by now, Maye is already scrambling, right? Like, the pressure is way too quick. Also, Maye scrambles a little early, right? Right here is where he starts to take off, and nobody's getting him yet. But his instinct that he can't trust this protection is pretty good because 97 gets right through immediately, almost untouched. And Maye saw an avenue. He saw a first down that he could pick up with his legs. It's a positive run. It's a plus run. Fine. That's a good thing. You know, there are things you'd like to clean up. Like, you'd like better play calling. You'd like Maye to trust his protection a little bit. But damn it, this protection's not to be trusted. So I get it, and he made a good play. Here, top of his drop, he makes the right read, hit Henry. He's starting to get comfortable. He just misses the throw. All right, it's Hooper, not Henry. Whoops. This throw's nuts. I kind of wish I would have pulled the tight copy for you guys, but I don't care that much because it's a throwaway. Maye evades pressure. He's getting pinched, right? He's got two defensive ends, both ready to sack him, totally unblocked. He makes the right read, finds his receiver over the middle. He's throwing off of maybe his heel, but he barely has a foot on the ground when this ball's released. It's a plus pocket move to get the ball out. It's a plus pocket move to avoid the rush, and it's a throwaway. So that's actually a good play by Maye, despite the fact that if you're only looking at the ball location, it almost looks like a bad throw. Here's another one. If you don't know what you're looking at, you're going to think, Maye missed his receiver. That's bad accuracy. He's bad. All the reports were right. He's not an accurate guy. But if you watch what Pop Douglas does, and I want you to only focus on number 3, right? Just look at him. Don't look at the ball this time. You see how he just kind of stops? Pop Douglas thinks that he's supposed to sit in the zone, and you know what? He might be right. I think he has a little bit of room. I think Maye was correct to lead him, because if Pop Douglas keeps running and he catches this ball a step ahead of where he is because he sat down, catches the ball here, he's got an avenue, right? He could split those defenders, and he's certainly quick enough to do so when their momentum's all carrying them away from where he's going. I'm not mad at either. I just think that this is a miscommunication that occurs when you're not getting starting reps, you're not playing with the starters very often, you're in your 8th snap of your career. It's a routine throw to me, not a bad one, and to the extent it was an incompletion, I blame, I guess, the coaching staff for not putting them together quickly enough. But have no fear, they remedy it on 4th and 10 right here. Nice job. Maye has a little bit of protection. The read is proper. Nobody else is open. He finds his open receiver. He manipulates the linebacker with his eyes a little bit. Right, see here, Maye's looking towards the bottom of the screen. He holds that linebacker. See how the linebacker is breaking towards the bottom of the screen? That's because Maye has indicated to him with his eyes, I'm going to try to sit number 3, Pop Douglas, down. You need to be backpedaling. Instead, Pop Douglas is not sitting down. He is running the bend route that we talked about earlier, and he's getting hit right in the face mask. It is perfect. That is a solid throw. That is a good job by Drake Maye. He is catching on. Let's see the tight copy. Now you'll be able, first of all, not expecting the snap. But as soon as he does get the snap, which is nice, it's arguably a plus pocket movement that wasn't a fumble because he made a nice catch. See how he's looking this way. And he's baiting one of the smartest linebackers in the entire NFL, right? Quincy Williams is arguably the smartest linebacker in the NFL. He was an all-pro for a reason. He's baiting him to move this way. And that's really smart because then Maye can throw the ball right behind him. Perfect job by Maye. Way to bait him. And again, these are not prevent, give up, garbage time coverages. The Jets are trying right now for some reason. Call it generational trauma. They don't seem to like the Patriots a lot. Here, final play of the game because the Patriots offensive coaching staff is, I can't say the word because we're on YouTube, but they stink and they're cowards and I don't like it. And they didn't decide to try to get Drake Maye the first rookie quarterback touchdown of the year, which would have been hilarious. Nobody's open. Eventually, Pop Douglas comes open, so like some people that don't really know what they're looking at and like screenshots say Drake Maye should have thrown the ball here. I disagree. You would have to throw with so much anticipation that you'd have to loft it, and then you would basically have a jump ball between Pop Douglas, who's 5'8", and like 3 defenders breaking on that ball. That's a recipe for disaster. And he gets sacked, and that one, there is nothing he can do about it, right? It's supposed to be a quick slant, and the quick slant is totally eaten up by some man coverage. Well, it's not man coverage. It's definitely cover 2, but it's matched, so they're effectively playing man coverage. Protection's not very good. Drake Maye is not afforded the opportunity to get to a second read. Not that any of them would matter because it's literally all slants. Like, this play is very dumb. I'll draw it up for you. I don't understand how this play is supposed to work. Like, in what universe does running all these slants into a cover 2 nickel defense ever work? There's no opportunity. It's really not creative. It's a basic play from Madden 2004. It is. Look, I'm not high on Alex Van Pelt, and this is kind of why. It's an Adam Gase caliber route design. So when these defenders man up effectively and jam all their receivers, there's nowhere for Maye to go. There's no outlet because they have to keep the running back in just to keep Maye upright, except they can't keep him upright, so he is sacked. You stuck around this long? You've seen every play. What do you think? Good? Bad? Did I miss something? Most importantly, what do you want to do about week 4? Because 10 days is a pretty good amount of time to get Drake Maye ready to start. But you might not want to play him behind this offensive line that just let 2 quarterbacks get obliterated. And with these receivers who can't seem to get open, and this coach who seems to be stuck in 1991. Personally, I'm not a Patriots fan, so I don't know. I don't have that interest investment, right? The Patriots are boring to me. I don't mind. I can watch other teams. If you're a Patriots fan, it's definitely a lot more fun with Drake Maye. But just for Maye's, progression, his edification, do you think it's better to start him or leave him on the bench? Personally, I want to leave him on the bench because I don't trust this offensive line. I don't trust this receiving core, and I don't trust this coaching staff. Avoid the PTSD that his good buddy Sam Howell got last year in Washington. You're already starting to see Maye anticipate pressure where it isn't yet. Now, he wasn't totally wrong because it inevitably came a half a second after he thought it was coming. But I'm okay, not because Drake Maye will develop on the bench. I'm okay leaving him on the bench just so he doesn't get hurt or worse, mentally scarred. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe. I'll be doing these videos every week. I think I've said all the YouTube things I have to say, so now I can get back to doing what I do best, grind and film. Hasta.